All right, we'll get this party started. So, appreciate for everyone being here. My name is Elvis Torres. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Concrete and Surface Preparation Division at LATICRETE. I'm in charge of all the self-levelers, moisture mitigation, and everything like that. And we also have our sales director for the entire country. So he's running all over the place, Joseph Rizzo. And finally, my lovely assistant, Alejandro Luna, who's our Florida rep. Over here for who knows everything about self-leveling. So you're in Florida, you need something, talk to Alejandro Luna, he's your guy.
And he is a lovely assistant. Friendly as the day is long.
So we're going to be presenting two products for you guys today. We're going to be presenting a new product that we just developed and is coming out in August. And then we're going to be presenting a nice self-leveler or lightweight self-leveler, which we showed last year, but we figured we'd show it again this year because it's just such a high-performing lightweight self-leveler. So currently we have 4 moisture mitigations. We will have 4, we currently have 3. So right now, all our moisture mitigation is epoxy based. So we saw an opportunity in the marketplace where we said, okay, you know, epoxy is great, but people build up allergies to epoxies. It's a 2 components or it requires mixing, so on and so forth. We said, okay, let's start looking towards the future and come out with a 1 component moisture vapor barrier, which has really high performance, as good as an epoxy, but it's water based. So that's what we work towards, and we're launching a VaporBand Primer W. So you can see all the abbreviations on the bottom of the hierarchy. VaporBand's our brand of all moisture mitigation. We've had VaporBand E, which is high performing. All of them are 100% RH. All of them meet the 25 pounds down to 3 pounds for moisture mitigation. E is the slowest at 12-hour cure. Then you have ER at 2 to 3 hours. And the primer, when you have VaporBand Primer ER or VaporBand Primer W, that's also a primer for self-leveling. So if you are applying your moisture mitigation, and once it's cured, you can put a self-leveler right on top. You don't need to do a prime coat in between, which saves you a lot of time and money.
So those that are familiar with LATICRETE probably knows that one of the things that we're really good at is getting epoxy performance from alternate chemistries. And in that tradition, that's what we've done with the Primer W. The numbers almost don't give you the impact that you can do any situation practically that you would do with a 2-component epoxy with this single component water-based system that is very, very easy to place, takes less surface preparation than you would need with an epoxy, gives you an excellent bond to the substrate, gives you 100% performance that you would expect from an epoxy, and acts as a primer that doesn't need a sand broadcast, and it's fast, it's quick, like Elvis said, hypoallergenic, and makes not only just is it a primer, it is a really good primer. The bond of self-leveling and other cementitious materials to this moisture mitigation system are absolutely strong, very, very effective.
Yeah, it's very easily applied, so you don't have to even, like unlike epoxies mixing in A and B, this is you open the pail, give it a little stir, and you can just pour it on the ground and start rolling it out. It requires 2 coats of 10 mils, which ultimately gives you about 10 to 12 dry. So the first coat, just you're able to spread that out, and the second coat kind of fills in maybe all the little pinholes or little crevices that you missed on the first, just to make sure you have 100% coverage. And to Joe's point, we've gotten very high tensile strength, over 150 PSI from SLU bonding to this product. So really, when you think about it, it's a primer with even an additional assurance to it, when to protect that final floor, which adhesives can be breaking down. You have wood, even sensitive stone and tile. There's moisture sensitive stone and tile out there. So it's just a great way, a cheap insurance to go in there and apply that.
And cheap insurance is a really good way of describing it, because it's at a price point that when you even have a little bit of doubt, and you're going to be using a primer anyway for your subsequent layers if you're going to be doing self-leveling, you can almost upsell the customer on, hey, we can give you a priming system that is also an absolute moisture mitigation. And by the way, you'll have noticed before the lovely assistant, north-south, east-west on the direction doesn't take much more than that. You look like you're getting ready to heckle. No? Okay. I don't know. You had that look. You had that look on your face.
No, but we're really happy. This has been a long time coming. Even being 2 coats, it still dries very quickly. You know, your first coat might be an hour to an hour and a half, and the second coat another hour and a half. So maybe 3 to 4 hours you'll be done. Obviously, temperature affects that. So if it's hotter, you're gonna get a faster cure. If it's colder, it'll be a little coat. But this product is stable as well, even though it's water-based. It's gone through 5 freeze-thaw cycles. So let's just say you're shipping this across the country. It happens to get frozen. It's okay. You know, it will continue to offer the high performance. And one thing Alejandro's doing on the coating right now is actually measuring that mill thickness. So you're applying it. We recommend a 3/8 snap roller, which a nice saturated 3/8 snap roller will give you about 10 mils wet, but it's always good to double check, and you can always also use a notch squeegee to give you that recommended thickness as well, just to make sure you're good to go. But a mill gauge is great insurance, great to check out.
Little point that's obviously with the tools of measuring and with the tools of placement, you're going to get the thickness that you need. But a really, really easy way to make sure that you're at least in the ballpark is stage out any liquids that have to be put at a particular thickness, which is pretty much any coating at all. Space them out along the edges of the job site so that or the area that you're going to be covering, so that you know if you've used the buckets that you've pre-calculated will be needed for that coverage, you're going to be at least in the ballpark. And then go ahead and double check with a measuring device like a gauge.
Yeah. The nice thing is as well, so since it's water-based, low VOCs, always really important, and ultimately will be Green Guard certified as well. So help with those lead points for new construction, build up the overall project up. And the nice thing about it as well, again, it's really easy to apply, and there is a color shift. So when you look at the product, it comes out like a very light violet type of color, but once it cures, it's tan. So you get that visual change, which lets you know that the product is dry, and you're able to apply either a self-leveler, a patch, or skim. Sometimes floors don't need to be flattened 100%. You just need a patch or a skim here and there. And again, those products bond to VaporBand Primer W with that ease. So we've already done a couple projects. This is actually Harvard University, which is being completely done with the business school residential building is being completely moisture mitigated, about 500,000 square feet of VaporBand Primer W being applied on this project. So it's definitely been tested and true with our NXT Level Flow being applied over it. So we're very happy to bring this out to the market. And again, this is an August launch. And any questions on VaporBand Primer W? How much? That's a good question. Come see us by the booth.
I looked at the previously glued down floor or something. How clean does concrete have to be before you can use it?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, this product, as Joe mentioned earlier, it doesn't. You want to get as much as that material off as you can. A CSP of 1, which is not much of a surface profile. Typically, even the moisture mitigation, our entry-level moisture mitigation requires 3 to 5, which is a little bit more grittier. This is as low as a 1 to 3. So hardly, as long as it's clean, dry, sound, VaporBand Primer W can be applied on top.
So the question that was asked is if there's a previously applied glue, how much of it has to be removed? First thing to determine, is it a water-based glue? Because if it's a water-based glue, chances are you're going to redissolve it, so you want to get rid of all of that. If it's a mastic, then you have to determine if it's a hot mastic or not a hot mastic, and by hot I mean asbestos contaminated. So that's a question that's going to go to the GC and how that's going to get addressed. And if it's a non-asbestos contaminated mastic, you can scrape it down to the point where it's translucent, no chunks, no lumps, no solid pieces, but you can handle a translucent area. And always, 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 because there's no way of knowing what exactly it is that it's down there. If you've got something weird, do a mock-up. Put it down. If we can assist you, we will. We can have somebody come down and take a look at it and put eyes on it. But absolutely do a mock-up anytime that you're going over something. If you're questioning it, chances are there's a reason that it needs to be questioned.
That's a very good point. We were multiple times today sabotaged. I've been trying to keep this board nice and clean, even signs saying don't walk over it, but it's been walked over, water's been dropped on it, and even it being water-based, you can see it didn't re-emulsify. It's a pretty durable product, and this was applied about 2 hours ago. So goes to show you the durability of even it being a water-based and a one component.
So you can do anything as basic as scraping it and say that your years of experience makes you feel qualified, that you know that that's good enough, or you can use an ASTM tensile pull test method that are made specifically for coatings. Gilles, do you remember the number D1783 for tensile pull?
I think it's 1783.
That's going off of memory, so it could be plus or minus a few. But yes, so there are ASTM test methods as well as the practical, did it stick?
So moving on to our next product, we have NXT Level Plus Lite. So we launched this late 23, early 24. This is a great product. It's on the premium side. So we try to keep our line easy and to understand for the end user. You know, we don't have 15, 20 different self-levelers. Right now we currently have 4. So our good, better, best, NXT Level Flow being our entry-level self-leveler, and then NXT Level Plus being at the end of the higher end, high performance. But one thing I want to just note, just on our other self-levelers, we do have a change that we did in launch window 1 of this year, which is coming out, which was in April. So our NXT Level Flow and Level are now both UL certified for fire rating. We've tested the product out very extensively for ASTM and UL ratings for a 2-hour fire rating. So that's a great, awesome thing for wood structures or even buildings who are requiring that. So typically only seen in the gypsum world, but we've launched it with our cementitious technology. So really happy about that. And we've gotten some improvements of PSI for NXT Level Flow and also the speed of cure for our final floor covering. We sped up the product. So Flow used to be 48 hours, it is now 24 hours, and NXT Level was 24 hours, now it's 16 hours. So again, we always even like to improve our current product line to just continue giving everybody the best performance as possible. So Plus was a great addition to this product range. Lightweight self-levelers, why do you need them? You know, there's structural constraints in buildings. I mean, you can go pretty thick with a self-leveler. I mean, Flow can be, NXT Level Plus Lite can be pumped up to 4 inches thick. These, when you're using a lightweight, they're typically projects where they're gonna need a lot to self-level. So again, a great addition to the line and really high performance of flowability and also compressive strength.
What's the thickness on
Very good question. What's the thickness for the fire rating for Flow and Level? 1 inch. Oh no, 3/4 of an inch.
The test was done at 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
Yes,
For 2 hours,
and it
yes.
gives you 2 hours.
It gives you a 2-hour rating.
It gives you 2 hours. And one of the things that we didn't realize that a lot of contractors that use gypsum, which has traditionally been the types of products associated with fire ratings, didn't realize how much of a quicker turnaround time a cement-based product is, and also flexibility in schedule. So it's not only that you can get on top of it with the floor faster, it's that because you can leave it exposed for months at a time to construction traffic, you can put it up before the walls are up, or after the walls are up, or right before the flooring. And that's something that you don't have the flexibility with a gypsum self-leveling. So there are a lot of advantages. Obviously, all right, we gotta be honest here, gypsum underlayments cost a lot less money for the material than a calcium aluminum premium cement base. But the flexibility and schedule, the durability and the capabilities to do things that you could not do with any other chemistry may make it attractive for certain projects. And we were finding that we were coming up against building code where owners wanted to use a cement-based system, but couldn't because of the fire rating. So now we have one.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to cementitious technology, the rate of the cure. So, I mean, you're curing in hours versus days. And also, too, with our cementitious technology, sealers aren't required for adhesives at the end of it. And then with gypsum, a lot of times you do have to apply a sealer on top to have that the compatibility with adhesives. But so NXT Level Plus Lite is 70 pounds per cubic foot. so almost half the weight of your traditional self-leveler. When you compare that to gypsum at 110 and then concrete at 145, you can see that the product is quite light. We do have samples at our booth, so if anyone wants to take a feel for how the difference between your standard self-leveler and NXT Level Plus Lite, you'll definitely notice. It's quite big.
Because it's light, the product and self-leveling, the product moves around easily, leaves you a great texture to go over the top of. But those numbers are worth repeating. Concrete is 145 to 150 pounds a cubic foot. Standard self-leveling is about 120 to 125 pounds a cubic foot. Gypsum, which everybody associates as lightweight because it's about the same as lightweight concrete, is 110 pounds a cubic foot. This material is 70. So it is significantly lighter, yet it still gives you, what is it, about close to 4,000 PSI?
4,400.
4,400, yeah, that's, so you get the performance of a standard self-leveling, of a high-strength self-leveling, but at a weight that is normally associated. And it's a dramatic difference when you start looking per square foot, because usually when a lightweight is being looked at, it's not because we're going at a fraction of an inch. It's because we're going at multiple inches, and this product can be poured up to 4 inches thick.
Yeah.
So you've got the flexibility that you need for these types of jobs. And the advantages are both for the structure itself, how much dead load per square foot a particular structure can take, and also for the ease of use to the mechanic, to the applicator. It's a big difference. If you're moving around bags of self-leveling for an 8-hour day, moving a 27-pound bag makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. versus a 50.
Yeah, you took the thought right out of my head, Joe. I was going to mention that there's been actually applications that NXT Level Plus Lite has been used, but there were no weight constraints. It was just like maybe a hard area to get into. There was no freight elevators available. I mean, you know, being at 27 pounds versus a 55 pound bag, volume-wise is a 55-pound bag. That's just significant weight savings, which again gives contractors the ability to get into tight spaces and mix products and level floors. But it is also pumpable as well, so that's not a problem. You don't have any segregation of aggregate. A lot of times you'll notice with lightweight self-leveling underlayments, you'll see some of the lightweight aggregate come to the top. Obviously, we spent about 3 to 4 years developing this product to make sure that the flowability was there, but the pumpability, which is what we're known for with our NXT and SuperCap systems, were there. So, again, it's fiber reinforced. It can be applied over wood. OSB, wood, no problem. Again, it does everything our NXT Level Plus does, but it's obviously higher performing, being lightweight and being able to be poured thicker.
Tile can go over the top of it in a matter of hours. Basically, once the product gets stiff enough to be worked on and walked on, you can put porous tile over the top of it. Moisture-sensitive flooring other than tile can take, what, 24 hours?
24. Yep. It's 24 hours, and you can start laying non-sensitive tile at 3 to 4 hours when it's walkable. So again, still high rate of cure, and these are just some images of the product being applied over some wood substrates. Again, the flexibility is there with the fiber reinforcement, and it's been tried and true. We actually just did a very large self-leveling application in Massachusetts at another university. We've been pretty hot and heavy with universities lately, but it's been going extremely well.
We have some of the best educated products in the business. We've been at colleges across the country.
Yeah. Question. Do we recommend terrazzo on top?
So
Man.
it's, you go ahead. I'll give
You first.
All right, so what it depends on is what the manufacturer of the epoxy terrazzo will say. Certain manufacturers of epoxy terrazzo systems say that they only want to go on epoxy patches, epoxy levelers, bases, and so forth. So we're not going to fight under the manufacturer. What we are is a cement-based substrate that can be roughened and can be profiled. The only specification that I would say is you need to give the product a few days prior to putting an epoxy over the top of it. And once you do that, I'll go back to what I said before, mock up, mock up, mock up. But will it work? Yes.
Can you ride a motorcycle on top of it? What was that?
Yeah.
So, any other questions on our self-leveling in general, NXT Level Plus Lite? Yes, sir. Yeah. No, that's right when it's poured, and then as it cures, you'll see that gloss go away, and it becomes a matte color. So, and we actually poured over Vapor Band Primer W. Again, I wanted to show you the color once it was dry, and you have up to 24 hours to pour on top of that moisture vapor barrier, the open window time. So once it's dry, you have 24 hours to pour a self-leveler on top. Just wanted to mention that. So.
And if you were looking at the sheen because you like that look, yes, we do make polishable overlays.
Yeah.
That,
which can be polished. So. Any other questions? Well, you can visit us at the booth. Hey, if you have any self-leveling questions, we would love to talk to you about it. Again, we offer a full line of patches, skins, moisture mitigation, priming, anything you need, even ways to pump it. So let us know. We love to help you out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Where?